Call this meeting to order. If everyone can please stand and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Trustee Mattson?
Here.
Trustee Scalise? Here. Trustee Reiser?
Here.
Trustee Christofferson?
Here.
Trustee Wilson?
Here.
Trustee Galuza is absent. Mayor Balderman?
Here. First up is our consent agenda, which consists of 12 items. They are the minutes of the regular meeting for May 12th, 2025, minutes of the regular meeting May 19th, 2025. Ordinance granting special use for a roof-mounted commercial solar energy facility, 2250 Barron's Drive, second read. Approval of purchase for staff uniforms for Crossroads Sports Complex, as well as locks, keys for the Crossroads Sports Complex, televisions, menu boards for the Crossroads Sports Complex, outdoor furnishings for the Crossroads Sports Complex, sports equipment for the Crossroads Sports Complex. We also have a resolution authorizing an amendment to the village-issued credit card policies and procedures, approval of an agreement, Water Tower Engineering Design, Christopher Burke Engineering, approval of purchase, flight submersible pump for wastewater treatment plant, and approval of an easement for 441 DeGroat Road. Does any member wishing to know those items to be pulled and discussed separately? All right, if not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Wilson. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Christofferson?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Reiser?
Aye.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye, and abstain from B, please.
Mayor Balderman?
Aye, motion carries. All right, next up is consideration for approval request for a permit fee waiver for backflow equipment at the Sanctuary Golf Course at 485 North Marley Road. We typically waive permits for our other governmental bodies. This would result in about a $75 permit if we didn't. So is there a motion to approve the request for the permit fee waiver?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Mattson, second by trustee Reiser. Comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Christofferson?
Aye.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Reiser?
Aye.
Mayor Balderman?
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have consideration for approval of an ordinance granting sign variance, 1000 East Lincoln Highway Co-Vantage Credit Union, second read. Robin and I had some conversation about this after our last board meeting, and I think as we discussed, and I think that we all kind of were in agreement that we, in this particular case, granting a variance without making a change would be kind of difficult. So Robin and I talked about a possible change to the ordinance for this. And so if we were so inclined to do that as a board, we'd have to grant the variance tonight, but we could move forward on making it something that applied to everybody. So Robin, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I think what staff was going to recommend was that the 500-foot separation be applied to signs on the same side of the street, and then like a 250 or so separation between signs that are on the opposite sides of the street, and then maintain the requirement that the signs be the specified distance from existing residential uses. So staff's recommendation is to grant the variance tonight, and then we'll come back in the next, probably July would be the first time it would be before you for a text amendment.
Again, with the residential, though, as we discussed, it's important, I think, that we have language in there that says that the facing of the sign, because it was a 200 feet, Robin, from residential?
I think it's 150.
150?
That's what I'm verifying. Keep talking while I look for it.
Okay. Well, while you're looking at
Yes,
that.
it's 150 feet from a residential use.
Yeah, and the reason that I brought that up to Robin is there's a big difference if you're 150 and the frontage of the sign is facing a home, as opposed to if it's on Route 30 and the homes might be we have some areas where there would be homes to the south that might be within that 150 feet, but they wouldn't be the sign wouldn't be facing them, so there wouldn't be any issues with lights or anything like that. They'd literally see the side of a metal sign or something. So as long as we can come up with language that kind of clarifies that.
We are already
that was-
working on it.
Okay, good. All right, thoughts on, first of all, thoughts on making that text amendment change to the ordinance. So 250 if they're across the street, still 500 on the same side, and the same 150 for residential, except for we will address facing residential. Any thoughts on that from the board?
I like it. I
Okay.
think, kind of as I stated 3 weeks ago with this particular case, when you're sitting at that light, it's hard to see both. And that's because they're on opposite sides of the street. So I think going forward, it's probably a good way to go. I'm not a huge fan of these signs. I think they're distracting, and personal opinion, I don't think they look all that nice, but I also realize they're probably a useful tool for our business community. So I think that's a good compromise.
All right, very good.
I did notice as I was driving here today that Covantage has a temporary banner advertising some deal that they have going on. So I would expect going forward, if they had the ability to do those kinds of things within their electronic message, that we would have less temporary signs.
Right, well, we should ensure that they, so, yeah.
And the 150 for residential is what we already have in place.
Right, that's not changing. I just want to clean the language up a little bit because I know we dealt with that once before on the north side of town, where I don't know if those homes were actually in the village or not.
They were not,
They were
but-
not, but still, we
Right.
care about those residents as well. There's a big difference from having that frontage facing your front window as opposed to the side on Route 30.
Right.
So,
Sure.
all right.
So again, 250 if across the street,
Correct.
500 same side of the street.
Correct, so that's staying the same, the
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
We're just compromising on the across the street
Okay.
and cleaning up the language on the residential. Any other thoughts?
No, I like it. I think it's
Good?
Yep.
All right, so then what we need to do tonight is grant the variance for Covantage, and then, like Robin said, she can bring the text amendment back in a month or so. All right?
Yeah, it has to go for public hearing with the plan commission first.
All right, very good. All right, that being said, if there's no other discussion, is there a motion to approve the ordinance granting the sign variance?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Wilson, second by trustee Scalise. Anything further? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Madsen?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Christopherson?
Aye.
Mayor Balderman?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, next up is consideration for approval of request for extension of time to submit fees and execute final PUD plat for Briarwood Place. Robin?
Yes, this development got approved initially just before COVID and has been continued a number of times over the years. The request before you tonight is for another one-year extension. For those newer members, this is a townhome development just behind Reclaim Fitness.
On Route 30, right? Any questions for Robin? Okay, is there a motion to approve the extension of time?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Riser. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Madsen?
Aye.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise? Aye. Trustee Christopherson?
Aye.
Mayor Balderman?
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have consideration of approval and ordinance granting a variance for 114 Oak Drive.
Yes, this is a corner property on Hickory Street and Oak Drive. It is currently improved with a single-family residence and a one-car detached garage. They would like to add onto the garage another two-car garage addition. So there is a grassy area, but because of the site constraints, they are requesting to keep the new garage addition in line with the existing setbacks. So it's 4.9 feet along Oak Drive and 3.75 feet along the east property line. The Zoning Board of Appeals held the public hearing on this and recommended approval. And additionally, there were no members of the public there voicing any objections. So under your policies, this is exempt from second read, and you can take action tonight.
All right, very good. Any questions on that? No? All right, is there a motion to approve the ordinance granting the variance for 114 Oak Drive?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Wilson. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Christopherson.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin.
Aye, motion carries. Next up is consideration of an ordinance granting special use for an outdoor patio, 550 West Maple Street, Dutch Brothers Coffee, first read.
Yes, so this is a little over 1 acre parcel along the south side of Route 30, just west of Thornton's. The proposal is for a Dutch Brothers Coffee. They have drive-through and a service window only. There is no indoor seating provided on this. Tonight, the only matter before you is the special use for the patio. It would be a small patio for people to sit and enjoy their beverages after they receive them. They would have a total of 8 seats. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on this and recommended approval. The hours of the patio would be 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays and 6 to midnight on Friday and Saturday. No outdoor live music or entertainment. And they will have to come back before you for their final site plan approval once all of those plans have been finalized. So tonight, it is just first read of the ordinance granting the special use for the patio.
And no issues as far as safety and vehicles, because
No, we are working with them on the site circulation.
Okay.
Because of the cross-access with Thornton's and how they would drive, because it is predominantly drive-through, they do have a large stacking area anticipated, as you can see
do
from
they have
here.
bollards
So-
up or something around the patio, or
I'm sorry?
bollards something up around the patio?
Yeah,
too?
it's fenced.
I'm sorry?
There will be a decorative fence.
Oh, okay.
That's what, in the northeast corner, in the upper right corner.
That'll stop a car?
There is, if you look on the site plan where the patio
Yeah.
is, cars will not be immediately
Well, that's why I asked if
abutting
it
it.
would be, there'd be no way for,
No,
okay. Those are parking spaces like 4? Number 4 on the site?
yeah, those are parking spaces facing 30,
Okay.
and then the ones to the south.
So there's a green space between the patio and the drive, then, correct?
Correct.
I'm looking at that right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not dissimilar from what you have as well. That fencing, the type of fencing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, questions for Robin? Anything?
No.
No? All right, we'll bring that back then for second read. All right, next up is consideration for approval of extension of temporary use for a membrane bioreactor system for Lenny's Food and Fuel at 2560 North Cedar Road. Robin?
Yes, because of the volume of customer traffic, many years ago, the existing septic system, or the original septic system, was failing, so they had to go through this membrane bioreactor, which has been on site for, I think, 6 years now. It is functioning as intended. It is screened. It's not overly obvious to the people that are customers or driving past up there. And until sanitary sewer is extended further south along Cedar Road, there is no real feasible way to provide village sanitary sewer at this point. So staff is recommending approval of the 3-year extension.
All right, very good. Any questions for Robin? Is there a motion to approve the extension of temporary use for the membrane bioreactor system?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Riser, second by trustee Scalise. There's nothing further. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Christopherson.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, next up is consideration for approval of request for extension of temporary use for a subdivision advertising sign for Lee Creek South.
Yeah, Lee Creek South is located just east of Heather Glen. They have an existing sign in the southwest corner of the property along Laraway Road. It is in good condition. At this point, there's just a couple of single-family lots that have not pulled permits yet, but a number of duplex lots that are still available. So I know that there's a representative here from Hearts tonight if you have any questions, but otherwise the sign does conform with the sign regulations, and staff and the zoning board of appeals are recommending approval. This would be until the earlier of 5 years or the date that the final building permit is issued.
All right, questions for Robin?
I'm just curious, and maybe the rep can answer the question for me, but how many lots are left for the townhomes?
For the townhomes, we still have 10 buildings to put up.
Okay,
So it's duplex units, so it would be a total of 20.
okay,
And then there's, with the townhomes that are up, I have 2 units, so it's a total of 22.
okay, okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Okay. If there's nothing further, is there a motion to approve the request for the extension of temporary use for subdivision advertising sign?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Madsen, second by trustee Scalise. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Christopherson.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin.
Aye, motion carries. Okay. The next three are crossroads items. First up is consideration for approval of proposal geotechnical engineering services, Crossroads Sports Complex for the billboard. We need to have geotechnical exploration analysis done for the billboard installation project. Total cost is $5,825 with TSC. Are there any questions on that? No? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Christopherson. If there's nothing further, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Christopherson.
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin.
Aye, motion carries. Next up is consideration for approval of a resolution authorizing a sponsorship agreement with Gattos. This is a 3-year agreement with an annual amount of $6,000, which gives them interior signage within this Crossroads Sports Complex and a digital advertising package. Nice to see one of our great local restaurants participating up there. Any questions on that? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Madsen, second by trustee Scalise. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Christopherson.
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin.
My motion carries. All right, and then finally is consideration for approval of contracts for our grand opening event. As we talked about on Saturday, June 28th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday, June 29th from noon to 4. We will be having opening festivities to everyone that's out there that wants to come see the complex. A lot of great things happening out there for kids. There will be concessions and the beer garden open for purchase, but other than that, it's all free. Just come on out and see this incredible complex. These contracts include entertainment for face painters, music, DJ bounce houses, all of that for a total of $5,985.80. Any questions on any of that? All right, is there a motion to approve the contracts for that grand opening event?
So moved. Second.
Motion by trustee Madsen, second by trustee Wilson. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Christopherson.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, on to reports and communications, couple things. It's really happening out here in the Commons. The activities have really taken off this year. Of course, the farmers market every Thursday has been phenomenal. We've had great vendors. We know as the season advances, there'll be additional produce and cheese vendors, but it's been really nice to have the ones that we've had out there. Good crowds, great feedback. We had a Fridays After 5 this past week. We had Kids Day, which was very, very well attended. The community band was out there Sunday, so the activities are in full swing. We would encourage you to go to our village website and look at all of the offerings that are out there. Of course, our first of 6 concerts starts off this weekend, this Saturday with Chris Young. Tickets are available still. If you go on the village website, it'll show you how to be able to purchase those tickets. So we're expecting a good crowd and a great night out there. We would encourage you to come out. And you asked for country, you got country. So all these country fans that wanted country, you better come out. Because all we hear every year, Mayor, we want country. And this Chris Young, I'm not a country enthusiast, but from what I understand, is pretty popular and has had a lot of success. So if you ever want to see country again, you better get out here for Friday night. I do it reluctantly, but there you go. So a big thank you to, of course, our special events staff for putting all this on and doing such a wonderful job. But the truth is, like we say every year at every event, there are Village Hall staff that are involved. There's police staff, CERT, EMA, Public Works. I mean, everybody. Everybody pitches in to make all of these events successful. And so far, they've been very, very successful. So it's good to see. And thank you, Kurt, of course, to all of our staff for what they do. It's an important part of what we do. We're in good shape financially, but I was asked not that long ago if we weren't, this would be the first thing gone, right? And that's not necessarily true. Of course, our service, providing services, streets and police and water are critical services. But if we're a community that wants to take care of our people's every need, if we want them to have everything here, understanding that providing things for families and residents to do is a big part of a successful community. And those that neglect it, maybe that's why they don't grow at the rate that we grow, because everything is here. Everything is here. So we would encourage you to take advantage of that and invite your friends and family from other towns to come out and see what we have to offer. It's really very, very impressive. That being said, as you know, started a podcast. First couple episodes are out there. It's going very well, and there's a couple of more that have been already filmed that will come out every other week. There'll be a new podcast coming out. It's just one more way that we can communicate factual information to our residents. We know that our staff, we have multiple ways that residents can contact any one of our departments, whether it's through email or a phone call or stopping at the Village Hall. But unfortunately, too many people turn to social media to try and get their information. And unless it's one of us putting it out there, I wouldn't recommend that's where you get your facts. So the podcast, of course, is called Too Honest for Social Media. And it is blatant, it's very obvious, very honest with the conversation. But we had a good one with the police that's out there right now on all the podcast platforms as well as on YouTube. If you want to see the good-looking faces of your village staff, you can watch the video there as well. Got one with the Special Events Department coming out, Public Works Department coming out, and there'll be a lot more coming. So we would encourage everyone to check that out, and just one more way to get some information. All right, that's all I have for tonight. Village Attorney? All right, thank you. Village Administrator?
I just want to mention, you were mentioning all the special events, and unfortunately, we just had one of our dear friends, Dale Erickson, who worked for us for many years, just passed, and Dale was a huge supporter of the work that we had in events. He was the person who suggested Cruise the Commons. He built our ticket booths, the little storyboards that you see from the library. Dale created and put those up. He was the first one putting up the banners, so he passed just recently, but he was definitely, the staff supports that. He very much supported the events that provided for our residents.
Yeah, no, I unfortunately, I had to attend that wake, only unfortunately because there was one. But Dale was a great guy, a hard worker, did an amazing job for us, and it was nice to see that there was a big turnout for Dale's service there. You're right, he's just one of those employees that what he did will have an effect on what we're doing for many years to come. All right, thanks, Kurt. Very good. There's nothing else. Payroll and disbursements. Trustee Mattson?
Yes, I make the motion to approve our bi-monthly disbursements in the amount of $7,579,839.50 and a disbursement in the amount of $153,673.63. In addition to these disbursements, approval is needed for payroll in the amount of $521,142.12 paid on May 30th, 2025, and that is in a form of a motion.
And I will second that.
All right, motion's been properly moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All right, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Christopherson.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Mayor Balderman.
Aye, motion carries. Anything else, Keith?
No, sir.
All right, very good. I will also say, we're talking about that podcast, that Don Winnie kind of got that thrown at him pretty quickly and has done a great job putting that all together. And Don always does good work for us, that's for sure. But he took on this new little endeavor and had to do a lot of work to get it out there. So Don, thank you. We appreciate that. All right, trustee comments. Trustee Scalise.
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Trustee Wilson?
Nothing tonight.
Very good. You don't want to encourage your country fans to be out this week?
I think the ticket sales numbers, that this is the strongest selling concert we have going, shows that
All right.
the community's happy with
Is
it.
that right?
It is by 300,
You
so.
better find some new friends. All right. Trustee Christopherson.
I'm excited for that podcast. I've subscribed to it, so it's a good thing to have on with all the tasks going on this summer. But-
Yep, absolutely. Very good. Thank you. Trustee Mattson.
Nothing tonight.
Very good. Trustee Reiser?
Nothing tonight.
All right. Well, since there's nothing further, we have no need for executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Scalise, second by Trustee Christopherson. All those in favor signify by a voice vote of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.